So this session we are going to talk about relevant anatomy in the lower and the upper limb. I suggest if you have not seen the first one with anatomy I have talked about in the truncal area, please watch that video first. Then I'll tell you in this video why it is important to understand the details in this arms and legs. Why? Because the liposuction of arms and legs is different than liposuction of the trunk. And this is where complication occurs if you try to do the same technique, same method in arms and legs as well. So what we need to see is the aesthetics of lower limb and the upper limb, because proportions are important, remember. Structural anatomy of fat, like we have seen in the truncal area, the quality, skin quality in each of these different zones of arms and legs, underlying important structures, and classification of adiposities is very important, because like I said, in abdomen you can do 360 liposuction, but in arms and thighs you have to be very careful about choosing the areas on doing liposuction. That's why classification is important. Arms and thighs, particularly thighs, lower limb is very challenging. Why? Because the complication rates are very high. So let's look at the aesthetics of the thigh, particularly the female, and I'll actually classify into gynecoid and android. It could be in male as well, they can have gynecoid kind of thighs, or a female could have android kind of thighs. But generally thigh is like a conical structure where the widest part is the trochanter and it becomes narrow at the knee. And this proportion is very important, because you do not want to do excessive liposuction in the upper part of the thigh and then make it disproportionate, because as the patient gains weight, the distal part will accumulate fat and the anatomy and aesthetics will change. So you need to know how the thigh looks in a petite woman with low BMI, in an overweight and an obese person, and also a non-muscular versus a muscular person. So the anatomy remains the same. Remember I said about apical layer of the fat, areolar and lamellar. But how they are distributed and how they protect different layers is very important to understand. So again, in the thigh, the apical layer is the area which is very critical, that protects your superficial dermis. If you do aggressive liposuction there, you will have a lot of rippling, wrinkling, loss of sensation, discoloration, and even necrosis if you're using energy-based devices. So you do not touch this area in the lower limb at all. The areolar layer is the area where you do liposuction in all of the thigh, calves and legs. But you need to understand the anatomy, which can vary in different areas. The lamellar layer, or the deep fat which is underneath the intermediate fascia, is only limited in certain areas, particularly in the upper part of the thigh or around the knees, because this is important for mobility. Remember, the lamellar fat is for mobility. So when you pinch the skin, you pinch apical and areolar layer, you do not pinch the deeper layer, which is the lamellar layer. Only when you do deep pinch that you grab the deeper layer. So this is important to understand. Then the orientation of the vessels. The veins, the thighs can bleed a lot. So you need to know the deep venous system, the superficial venous systems, and how they are connected. And they lie more longitudinal as compared to in the truncal area. Similarly, the lymphatics. The lymphatics are superficial. They are in the medium layer, which is areolar layer, which often gets destroyed because of liposuction. But the deep lymphatics, which is protected by the fascia, deep fascia, needs to be preserved to prevent seroma or lymphedema. So let me tell you about the myth of the thigh. Often you will see pictures like this which shows that there are zones of adherences and you should not do liposuction in those areas. That is well true in people who are thin, who have low BMI. So you may have fat with deep lamellar fat in the upper thigh, but in the mid thigh it's more densely adhered, there is less lamellar fat. But if you look at the progression of weight gain, as the weight gains, people become overweight and obese, the fat starts depositing in the deeper layer as well. So that adhesion goes away. So this anatomy is very important to understand. So trace this layer of fat and the facial layer right from the groin, upper thigh, mid thigh, and how these facial layers around the knee confluences, okay? And then again, in overweight patients, the fat starts depositing in the calf area and also in the ankle area, which has predominantly areolar layer of fat not much of sublaminar fat. So your liposuction in the thigh upper part is superficial and deep, whereas in the lower part like calves and ankle, it is mostly superficial. Then you need to know the vessels and the lymphatics. Of course, in the thigh, you have the big arteries, big vessels, femoral vessels in the femoral triangle and femoral sheath. But there is a superficial venous system, which is the long saphenous vein, and there are lymphatics as well, the deep lymphatics and superficial. So if you damage the deep lymphatics, then you have risk of seromas and lymphoedemas. So look at different part of the thigh. So you need to divide the thigh into anterior, medial, lateral and posterior thigh. And it's empirical division, there's no anatomical landmark, but for you to understand the differences, it's important to divide this. Anterior thigh, if you look at the front of the thigh, it has thick superficial fat layer with deep fat only in the upper part. And there is less fibrous septa. And there may be two separate zones where there is bulge only in the upper part, but the lower or the mid thigh has adhesive zone of adhesion, which means there is not much of sublaminar fat in that area. Then again above the knee, you will see there will be some amount of sublaminar fat deposition. If you do liposuction continuously all over the anterior thigh, the thigh may just glide and slide down, causing lot of excess skin over the knee. That's why you need to do compartmentalized liposuction in the anterior thigh. The medial thigh, again same thing, upper medial thigh, which is inner thigh, has a irregular layer and lamellar fat. Predominant bulge is because of that, but the mid thigh in people with low BMI will have less lamellar fat. As the BMI increases, the lamellar fat increases. And then similarly in the knee, there is areolar and lamellar fat as well. So if you do liposuction, you do discontinuous liposuction, addressing the area which are bulging out. Then the lateral thigh, which is the trochanteric area, also called as saddlebag. Often the fat here is thick, it's compact, and it's mostly areolar layer or superficial fat, very little deep fat. The infratrochanteric area, there can be adhesions, which is the lateral thigh, particularly over the fascia lata and the deep fascia. But in obese patients, there could be fat deposits and extensive cellulite in these areas as well. So when you're doing liposuction in lateral thigh, it's predominantly in the trochanteric area, not so much in the infratrochanteric area. Posterior thigh is very, very important to understand, because posterior thigh has thick layer of areolar fat with extensive fibroseptal network, much more than the anterior thigh, because obviously you sit on it, you sleep on it. And it's more vascular, hence the risk of cellulite is more. If you do liposuction in this area, there are high chances that the